If you only look at race, police killings look racist. Black Americans are 13% of our population, but they're 25% of the people who are killed by the police. Non-Hispanic white people are 63% of the population, but they're only 50% of the people who are killed by the police. But that leaves out the fact that most people killed by the police are poor. The ratio of whites and blacks in poverty is the same as the ratio of whites and blacks killed by the police. 20 million whites and 10 million blacks are in poverty, a ratio of 2 to 1. In the middle of August, 322 white people and 166 black people had been killed by the police, a ratio of 2 to 1. Last year, 581 white people and 306 black people were killed by the police, a ratio of 2 to 1. Over a decade, the police killed 2,151 whites and 1,130 blacks, a ratio of 2 to 1. When you include other races, the list of who's most likely to be killed by the police lines up with racial income. American Indians are the poorest people in America, and they're killed at the highest rate. Next are black people, then Hispanics, then non-Hispanic whites. Last are Asian Americans, who have higher incomes than white Americans. The basic rule for police killings is the richer the group, the less likely its members will be killed by the police. That rule applies within races. Ryan Cooper notes, the difference in lifetime risk of incarceration is something like 10 times as great for low-class blacks as it is for high-class blacks. If we assume that the police are generally arresting the same people they interact with generally, then something similar likely holds for police shootings. Focusing on black victims hides white and Hispanic people who were killed under similar circumstances. Robert Cameron Reedus was pulled over for speeding and killed after saying sarcastically, "Oh, you're going to shoot me?" Derek Cruz was killed even though he couldn't have had a weapon because he was only wearing basketball shorts. Andy Lopez was killed because his toy gun was mistaken for a real one. Christopher Roop was killed because he answered the door holding a Wii controller that was mistaken for a pistol. Christiana Conyard, a bipolar 100-pound teen, was killed because she went into a police station carrying a knife. Autumn Mae Steele was killed because a cop who was trying to kill her dog shot her. David Kasich was killed while he was lying face down in the snow after being stopped for an expired inspection sticker. Brenda Sewell was killed because her guards refused to let her have her prescription medicine. Obviously, not everyone killed by the police is poor. And obviously, some cops are racist. But statistically, that doesn't change the picture. Compared to European cops, America's police are badly trained and overly militarized. They're taught to kill when they feel threatened, and they get little training for dealing with people who don't or can't follow orders, which is why half of the people killed by the police have a disability, a fact that ties into most victims being poor. The disabled are twice as likely to be poor. Martin Luther King said, "There are twice as many white poor as Negro poor in the United States. Therefore, I will not dwell on the experiences of poverty that derive from racial discrimination, but will discuss the poverty that affects white and Negro alike. Today, there are twice as many white people killed by the police as black people. Therefore, it's time to discuss the killing that affects white and black alike. Ultimately, this is not a racial problem. This is a human problem."